heroes, legendary individuals in any kind of fiction that go through a challenge with the world going against their determination, only for them to stand up and come out on top, hopefully with a tearjerker. But heroes today don't go to castles and save princesses, or defeat a vampire, or even save the world. Today we have anti-heroes, unsung heroes, sympathetic villains who once were heroes. And then there's Jack of Blades. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Who? Jack of Blades? The first Fable bad guy? The guy every single Fable fan wants to return to the series? In hope that it will improve it? Yeah, that guy. Fable has always been about being a hero, either for the people of Albion or a mercenary with some bandits. And this game is actually the first 3D RPG that I've ever played with decisions with consequences. Another thing this game gave me personally was the character known as Jack of Blades, who I really like as a villain. So I recently played the anniversary edition of the first game, and just FYI, stick with the old one. It was really muddy and not that good. But when playing through it, there was one single scene that I've forgotten about that really made me raise a brow.
The one, the only, the hero of heroes!
Excuse me? Hero of heroes? As in, when the hero needs to be saved, Jack of Blades comes to the rescue? You do know that this is the guy who almost destroyed Albion and turned the population insane just because they didn't want him and his friends as rulers, right? So why did they introduce him in such a fashion? Was it because of fear? Ignorance? Is every spectator a member of the Cult of Blades? Or is it more to this character than what meets the eye? The best way to figure out the mind of an individual is to look at their past, and trust me, to be from the Fable franchise, this guy has some backstory. So let's begin by going to the Tales of Albion. Okay, to Wikipedia! Tales of Albion was where you could read the lore of the world of Fable, known as Albion, on Lionhead Studios' website. The site was separated into 3 parts: Fragments of the Old Kingdom, Fall of the Heroes, and Travels in Today's Albion. We will focus on the oldest part of the timeline, Fragments of the Old Kingdom, or Foot OK in short. Back in these times, Albion was a world filled with peace and tranquility, but then 3 individuals came from the neatly called world, the Void, which is where most of Fable antagonist originates from. These people were the Knight, the Jack, and the Queen of Blades, from weakest to the strongest. They called themselves the Court, and demanded that the world of Albion would bow down to these beings of grandeur. Now, being the peace-loving people that the population of Albion were, they calmly said in their most political tongue, "No!" Now imagine, you, a being with the strength of a god, hear that an ant declines your godhood. What do? A? Whatever. Or B? So the court started to force the people into submission, burning the sky, flooding the land, and finally making humanity go insane for years. Beaten and helpless, the people bow down to their new overlords. Why is this hero? Yay! Let's see here. After taking over the world, he went to the Void to torture spirits, and he lost the sword of Aeons to William Black, which gave Black the power to defeat the court. There we have it! Wait. Okay, maybe he has a rather dark past, but remember, people can change. So let's look at what happened just before the main game begins. As the Foot OK is in the distant past, we need to open our eyes to the recent times. Anyway, I'm thinking of everything that we can find in the main game that points to what Jack has done before the narrative. The entirety of Foot OK is not mentioned in the game, as even the book named after the character we're talking about today states that no one knows where he originates from. Except this guy. Though even if Molyneux did give us an answer, I really wouldn't trust him. No offense, Peter.
The greatest role-playing game of all time.
Let's take a look at the character himself. When designing a video game character, and the main antagonist no less, usually there will be details that have significant meaning. You don't just throw together a lot of stuff and hope that people will like it. When it comes to Jack, the first things you will notice are the 3 masks. 1 he is wearing, and 2 strapped to his chest. I don't think I'm reaching too far by saying that the 2 other masks must have been his fellow court members. Why did he take with him these masks? I will come back to that later, so just keep it back in your memory bank for now. Now, after the whole William Black thing, Jack did not make himself known for a long time. The earliest time zone we have of his return are when this old man was a young lad throwing newspapers to his neighbors. And while on his route, he was attacked by bloodthirsty Balverines, only to be saved by Jack of Blades and two heroes from the Heroes Guild. So he actually had a good relationship with the guild? Who would have thought? Maybe he wasn't such a bad guy after all. He then killed them, the heroes he were with, to make the young Mace feel indebted to him and also fear him. Okay, I need to do some serious digging. He also changed the life of another young individual, Lady Grey. It is stated in her diary that a masked messenger came to the then mayor of Bowerstone many years ago to deliver something, and while the individual was there, Grey was inspired to become the future mayor herself. Okay, this has to be something positive, right? I can't think of anything better to do than to help the younger generation turn into politics. Jack then convinced her into killing her sister, who was supposed to get the title of mayor. Oh, come on! There has to be something. Why else would the people of Albion name a drink after him, the Jack O'Ale, or create a toy of him for kids? Kids! Okay, there's something here. He got a monument dedicated to him after something called the Bloody Harvest. I couldn't find any information on what that could be, but considering that there's a monument there, I would assume that he must have helped people and made them happy by being the victor of this harvest thingy. He also is one of the only two individuals to ever be able to complete the arena without taking a single break between the arena fights. And that's all there is to what he did before the game, and there is nothing here that shows him to get the title of Hero of Heroes. I mean, the first 30 minutes of the game you can see that they spoil that he is the villain pretty much with the wall paintings. He kills the protagonist's father, kidnaps his mother, blinds his sister and leaves her in a forest. And what does he say straight after the announcer announces him?
A fight to the death between the two heroes still standing.
No matter the choice you make as a player, Jack will confront the protagonist in the hallway of the arena and state that he knows where the hero's mother is. And Jack is willing to reunite them if the character brings his sister with him. The hero, who understands this is a trap, finds out that his mother is locked up in a place called Bargate Prison, so he breaks in to get her out. Now Jack, being the plot point that he is, captures both, and the hero is trapped and tortured for a whole year in the prison. And while there, Jack captures his sister, Theresa, as she is needed for the ritual to gain his beloved sword back. Now this is where things get a bit strange. Jack needs these three individuals to get his blade, the Sword of Aeons, back into his hand with its full power. So why did he leave Theresa in the forest when she was a child? The narrator clearly states that they looked for a young boy in the beginning, hence why Jack attacked in the first place. So why? Well, it is because Jack simply does what he finds interesting, and in that perspective, he is actually the most realistic character in the entire game of the first Fable, at least lore-wise. Allow me to explain. There is no real grey zone in this game. In the first Fable game, you're either good or evil, and it will change your appearance and reputation. Help the innocent people or loot their village. Save the village, join the bandits, to destroy it. There is nothing in between here. And every NPC followed the same rule except the appearance changed, yet Jack of Blades is loved by the people, yet feared by the Heroes Guild. And we can see why if we look at his past and the future of when he didn't know how to reclaim his lost power. He saved a young boy while doing a quest with two fellow heroes, but after doing that he killed his companions and told the lad that he would owe Jack a favor. He may have done this, as Mace is the only character whose appearance changed because of his power of the will, so Jack may have felt the potential in the boy. He fought in a battle that gave him a monument dedicated to his victory, but he probably did it for testing out his strength, not saving innocent lives. He joined the arena, yet probably for money or to see how much his power has returned, but the people loved his performance. Remember that the book named after him claimed no one knows where he originates from, which means that everything that happened with William Black is forgotten through history. Every single choice he made, he didn't make for the same reason as the main character did. He didn't do it to become more good or evil. He did it because he was bored and had nothing else to do. Evidence for this comes in the form of the ebook named Jack of Blades, written by Peter David. This ebook is a short story that tells the tale of a young man named Zero, or X-Hero, 6 months after the defeat of Jack's dragon form, which is Fable's final boss. Oh, spoilers. Zero is a teacher who's been traveling for some time, until he heard a rumor that the village close by, named Oddwood, had been taken control over by Jack of Blades and a group of bandits. Now, short story shorter, Zero is actually Jack of Blades in disguise, and the Jack who took control over the village was a man named Fred, who has been pretending to be Jack in an attempt to scare the town people to not go against him. Now, what is interesting in the book is that Jack, now pretending to be a teacher named Zero, keeps up the pretense until the very end of the book, and even then he doesn't leave any loose ends. So he found something interesting on his travels, made the decision to participate in the little scenario of Fred and his gang, just simply because it interested him. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is just a book, this is not canon, this is just something on the side you can find. Well, after some digging, I found this. Haha! Nothing screams evidence as the last remnant of your body, am I right? What? You think this is just an Easter egg? I can certainly see that. I believe that if something is in a game, it is in that world, or hold a connection to it. In other words, if a character can see it, it must have originated from somewhere. Now, why is this book important? Except for a chance of the revival in the series with our awesome antagonist returning. It is to show us precisely how Jack got his good reputation. Throughout the short story, he is never shown killing anyone himself, but being the individual who is the catalyst of other people's well-being. In the book, there's a bandit that tries to take a fair maiden, and Jack, getting into the situation without meaning it, ends up helping her. He also ends up saving the town from the fake court member, again because he was dragged into it. And those masks I told you to remember? Time to talk about them. As the day and the book shows a side of Jack that the game never reveals to you. At the end of the book, before good old Fred dies, Jack tells him that he holds respect for the young man, as they both share the same view on humanity. Jack even goes so far to say that Fred is like a spiritual brother to him. And there is the clue. The mask Jack holds close to his chest, without being a single doubt in my mind, is the mask of his dead comrades, the Queen and Knight of Blades, and he keeps their masks as a keepsake. The reason I am so sure that the masks are theirs is because Jack uses his mask to stay alive after his body perishes, which is how he may steal the hero of Oakvale's body if you choose the evil route in the game. This is why the people of Albion think that he was a hero before he started to act villainous for the hero of Oakvale. After the court's fall, Jack went into hiding, just like he went by the name of Zero, and waited millennia to return back into his old persona. The Hero Guild are the only ones who seem to be scared of him, as they've been around for a long time, studying the history of the man who first got the ability of the will, William Black. While the people forgot the old history, focusing on what they had in front of them, a hero who outmatched everyone in the arena, potentially saved people in the Battle of the Bloody Harvest, and held an influence over many political leaders in the land, unknowing that their hero only did it to ease his boredom with his immortality. Jack of Blades seemed to be the only individual in the original Fable who seemed to not be chained down to the decisions we and the rest of the heroes are locked to. Where we got good or evil, he existed in a grey zone, not choosing the bandit side or the people's, but his own. And that is the mind of Jack of Blades.